Hello, welcome to the Fuzzy Loaf Deadpool review, where Matt and I are going to talk about Deadpool.
Yeah.
I don't really have any other kind of intro except that. So, we really didn't think of how we're going to organize this review.
Deadpool is a movie about a comic book character. I'm just kidding. Yeah, sure.
Everyone knows who Deadpool is. He's a crazy mercenary guy, can't die, regenerates really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, just a cartoon character. I mean, he is a cartoon character, but he's like, if a cartoon character existed in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
He's a Looney Tune.
Yeah, I guess let's start off with first impressions. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I want you to go first.
Okay. I liked the movie a lot. We should say this is going to be a spoiler full review.
Yeah, super spoilers. I mean,
so,
there's not a lot of spoilers in Deadpool. It'd be like,
no,
but yeah, there's
not really anything that
we're gonna give it all away.
Yeah. Okay, so I liked the movie a lot. Really good movie. Not necessarily superhero movie, and not necessarily my favorite superhero movie, but it's up there. It's pretty good. I did not need or really like any of the romance and that crap that got shoehorned in. Didn't feel necessary to me. He could have just been pissed that they fucked him up.
Yeah, me either.
It didn't like take away from the film necessarily, but I found myself getting bored at those moments, and it didn't really like. There were some funny moments that happened between Ryan Reynolds and Marina Baccarin when before he got all messed up and stuff, but it just didn't really feel necessary.
Cool. Do you want me to go now?
Yeah.
My first, if I want to give my overall feeling of the movie, I'd say I liked it. It was okay. I didn't love it. My friend who I saw it with the first time said he doesn't really like superhero origin movies or whatever. He said he loved Deadpool and was like his favorite. Me, I came out of it just thinking it was fine. I didn't really like it. Like everyone online is loving it. I thought it was only okay. I didn't think it was all that funny. Like I giggled at a couple jokes. I thought the action was better than the comedy.
Same with me. Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest too, I would have liked to see full Deadpool. I mean, it is full Deadpool. Like they did justice to the character. It is Deadpool. But I would have liked to not even see an origin and just seen Deadpool right into it. Mm-hmm. So really, this movie. Well, I thought the movie was just okay. I'm really looking forward to a sequel.
Yeah, same with me.
Spin-off or whatever.
I feel very similarly about that. While I was watching the movie, I was like, this is good. Like, there's nothing bad about it. But I'm more excited to see the future of this. It's a lot how I felt the first time I watched The Force Awakens, where I was like, this is fine, but really I'm excited for what's coming next, because now we're really getting set up for like all this craziness.
Right.
But I agree too. I thought the action was really great. It kind of reminded me of like Kingsman-esque action, where it was
I love that kind of action.
Mm-hmm. It was less like shaky cam, you can't see what's going on, and more like these cool sweeping shots with lots of motion in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, the jokes hit or miss. There was a lot of parts that I laughed at, but it was a lot like super bad humor, like Seth Rogen humor, where it's just dick and fart jokes. And
I'm not into that.
Yeah,
I'm not into that super juvenile humor. I like. Oh, geez, I moved the whole table. I'm into the more meta humor. Mm-hmm. That's what I like. So like here, let's just share our favorite joke if you have one. My favorite was the one about Professor X.
Yeah, that was
like
funny.
McAvoy or Stewart, and these timelines are so confusing.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny. I mean, shit, there was a lot of moments, but the moments I loved the most were those that broke the fourth wall. Like when he knocks on the door and Negasonic Teenage Warhead opens the door and he goes, "It's like you two are the only X-Men that exist. Like we couldn't afford to have any other X-Men in the movie." Yeah. Like, you know, all those were great.
The meta jokes are my favorite. The potty humor ones I don't.
Or did you catch the opening this time? Because I know you missed the opening.
That's why I went and saw it again.
The opening where it opens on that shot that's suspended in time, and then they're going through that
was awesome.
And it was like made by a pompous asshole, or like all this stuff. I thought that was great. Like that whole part was funny, because that in itself is what Deadpool is really all about. That was pretty
clever. Yeah. Another point I wanted to ask you: were there a lot of kids in the theater when you went and saw it today?
No, it was almost entirely couples, one male, one female.
Okay.
And mostly like 30 to like 50, I'd say. Like it actually skewed a little.
Well, you
older
probably went
than
to
I
Coon
thought.
Rapids too, right?
Yep.
Where they
And
have the
yeah, and it was
basically
10
a couple
a.m.
seats. Yeah. When I went and saw it this afternoon, tons of kids, and I was just like, as I saw them running into the theater, I was like, "You are not like 8-year-olds. Like these were young
Yeah.
kids." I was like, "This is really not a movie you should be seeing."
It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was like super inappropriate. There was lots
But for a
of there was
kid in,
more
like,
gore.
elementary school, like,
and there was
that's-
lots of stuff that they just would not have understood anyways.
No, they wouldn't, but-
yeah, it is weird. My brother was just talking to me today about how somebody from his work brought his like 5-year-old kid to see it and then complained about how it was inappropriate for kids. And he's like, that's what the rated R means. It's that it's not appropriate for children.
So basically, what we've learned from Deadpool is movie ratings don't mean anything. Because
no.
people don't
Yeah.
pay attention to them.
Well, and it's like parents are like, their kids are like, oh, this new comic book movie is coming out. And they're like, oh, okay, that means it's appropriate for kids. Comic book does not mean appropriate for kids.
Comic books not all comics are appropriate for kids.
There's tons of comics that are not. And in fact, I wish more would be made for adults. But
Right. Like I would not let my kid read Saga.
fuck no.
Hell no. Like, yeah, I was really surprised when I saw it.
Yeah.
All the
I don't
kids
think I
running
saw
into the theater.
anybody under, at least early to mid 20s.
And another thing that was weird too is when I saw it at AMC, you couldn't buy the tickets from the computer, self checkout thing for Deadpool, which I think is because they didn't want kids going out buying the tickets there.
Yeah.
And then so I had to order. I was like, oh shit! So I had to get it online on my phone and then print it out. Which I've never seen anything like that before. But I mean, it makes sense when you think about all the kids that are trying to go in and see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any other points that you really like? Characters you really like? There's really not many characters in it. I loved that they put Colossus in there. My favorite X-Men.
I did too. I did think the animation on that was a little distracting because it wasn't great. And I understand why their budget was tiny, but I think they could have decided to. I guess you couldn't do it practically and have it look good either, probably.
No.
But there's a way that they could have done it. It's like I just wish they would have done something that was slightly different.
They did the character right though, which was what I liked. We actually got a Colossus that spoke, and he was Colossus.
Oh my god! And that brings up another one of the funniest moments that I thought was the part where the girl he's fighting, Angel Dust. Angel Dust. Oh yeah, huh? I didn't make that connection because they just refer to her as Angel.
Yeah.
Her top comes off and he has his hand in the way and he's like, oh my god, you're
very pretty, very beautiful.
Very beautiful, you're right.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, thank you, like you're such a gentleman. Like that was so fucking funny because that fits his character, was like the polite and like, oh, you shouldn't swear, you should, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's not one to want to fight, but when he has to, he will.
I liked Negasonic Teenage Warhead a lot.
Yeah, she was cool.
I didn't really know anything about her.
Well, she doesn't really have anything. She's in like one issue from Grant Morrison, and then she dies in that issue.
Because I looked her up originally when she was announced for Deadpool.
Yeah. That's kind of why I think they went with her. It's because it was just a character that
somebody they could use.
They could use, but they could do anything with because there's nothing there.
But I think Fox was very wary going into this, that like letting them use anybody. Like I bet you Ryan Reynolds had to, like, I don't know.
Fox didn't even want to make this movie.
No, I know.
They were and I bet when I look at the box office receipts for this opening weekend, where it's already made like 3 times its budget, like.
Well, not to mention, so I guess I don't know if you want to get into this, like any of the numbers stuff, but it's already. Not only is it the highest grossing movie for Valentine's Day weekend, it's the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time for opening weekend.
Right. So Fox is going to look at this and be like, holy crap.
Like this beat out 50 Shades of Grey, which people at the time were like, holy shit, this is the most money an R-rated movie will ever make, or the most money any movie will make on Valentine's Day weekend. And it's like, no, dude, Deadpool, which is like a completely different movie than that. It's like, it's slaying. I think it's because, part of Ashley wanted to see it probably more than I did initially.
It's because of the awesome marketing they had behind it.
well, and this was like months ago when I was still kind of timid about the movie. I was like, I don't know if it's gonna be, I don't know how it's gonna work out. Like, Ryan Reynolds was Deadpool once, and it was horrible.
He was good as Deadpool.
He was great in this, but I just mean in X-Men First Class.
Right, that was just a bad. You mean Origins Wolverine?
Yeah, whichever one. I don't know. All those movies just blend together. Right. I loved the jokes in this movie though, like the like them breaking the fourth wall, like when he's talking about, do you think Ryan Reynolds gets by on
his superior acting ability or whatever?
And then the whole thing about like, I had to fondle Wolverine's balls to get this movie made, and like that kind of, that was funny. And then him wearing Hugh Jackman's face as like a mask at the end,
just a staple on his chin. Yeah, and it had funny parts, but it wasn't like laugh out loud super funny for me.
No,
it was more just like giggle moments and like smiles. But other points that I liked the helicarrier. That they never said was a helicarrier. Yeah. But you could easily tell by looking at it, like, oh, that's a SHIELD helicarrier.
I liked there was a couple of jokes that were made about, I mean, at the post-credits clip, they say, like, oh, what did you think Samuel L. Jackson was going to come out with an eye patch?
A sexy leather number.
Yeah. But there's a number of jokes that were made about, like, Marvel at large that I thought were really funny, too.
Yeah.
But like you said, it wasn't... I liked those because it was like self-referential. It was
the meta humor.
It was the meta humor of Deadpool that I was like, okay, I like this because I understand what's going on or whatever. But a lot of the stuff, like when he reveals his face to T.J. Miller, that whole scene could have been cut down to like, man, your face looks fucked up. Like, it didn't need to be like 6 minutes long of just insults.
I think that was just because that was just Ryan Reynolds and T.J. Miller going back and forth, and they just decided to keep a bunch of it in.
Yeah, to me, it didn't further the plot. It didn't make anything better.
Yeah.
One thing that I want to point out that I also really liked was the soundtrack for this movie.
It was really good. It was
fucking
Junkie
great.
XL who did it.
Yeah.
He also did the Mad Max Fury Road, and he's working on Batman v Superman.
So yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
But yeah, he's really good. He's a guy I'm going to look into more for soundtrack stuff. Like the soundtrack at the end in the final fight, that song that plays, so good.
Yeah.
And the whole
the Deadpool theme song in the fucking middle. I was like, geez. I was sitting there laughing so hard, and Ashley's like, "What is this song?" And I was like, "It's a song they made up for the movie.
It's great." Like, soundtrack was really good. I don't know if there's any other points you wanted to bring up, or you want to just give it like a rating.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think there was anything that was inherently bad about this movie. I think that
there's just something that's really stood out for you, right?
Yeah, I mean,
or for me,
it was
anyway.
it was a good action movie. There was funny moments. I did think this is the best portrayal of Deadpool that we could have gotten at this point.
Yes,
like with the budget that they had, the time they were allotted. Ryan Reynolds fought for this movie to be made, and I think Deadpool. I'm really excited for Deadpool 2.
Yes, if anything,
and
this
like
movie...
X-Force or like any other tie-in with X-Men or the Fox Marvel universe that they could have.
If anything, this movie makes me want to. Makes me more excited for a Deadpool sequel, or X-Force.
Yeah,
and we know Cable's going to be in the sequel. He said it in the movie, so. I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
and I'm as much as the movie I thought was just only okay. I just kind of liked it. I'm glad it's making the money it's making because it's showing studios like, hey, you can take risks and make movies for $58 million and they can make a ton of money back and stuff like that.
Well, and it shows like, okay, for the comic book crowd, you can afford to make an R-rated film. You just have to temper expectations and lower the budget. It doesn't have to be infinitesimally small. They could probably have still done, like a $75 to $100 million movie, and still they'll make their money back because it's doing really well overseas too. For the fact that it was released Valentine's Day and is rated R. You know. So yeah, I'm really excited for Deadpool 2, and I am glad that it's doing so well. But yeah, let's get into ratings.
All right, let's use a letter grading scale.
Okay,
that's the kind I like to use. If that works for you, I would give it a C+.
I think I'll go with like a solid B. Some of the humor hit pretty well. Some of it didn't hit at all for me. But overall, it was a great action movie. I think it could have been tightened up, like I said, by editing out some of the larger sequences with the flashbacks and stuff. I didn't really need that, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
I give it a C plus because I would just give it a C, but because I really liked the way Deadpool was portrayed and the job that Ryan Reynolds did, I give it the extra plus.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess that's it. That's our review of Deadpool. We liked it, but didn't love it. You know,
very excited for whatever happens
next. We're definitely in the minority
yeah.
of the internet. The internet seems to be loving it, but
and I don't want to be like down on it. It's like with Age of Ultron, you know.
But it wasn't amazing.
It was a good movie. I'm happy to see what comes next. All the stuff that they set up, but this movie itself didn't necessarily blow me.
And I'm not really like a Deadpool fan. I don't consider myself a Deadpool lover. I think he's an interesting character, but I'm not like a fan of Deadpool.
Yeah, I've tried reading some Deadpool comics, like even just the
really
few
not for me.
Yeah, it's just
So yeah, that's our review of Deadpool. So until our next review, we'll probably be Batman v Superman.
Yeah, we can also do a wrap up for Daredevil season 2 and like all that other stuff.
Yeah. So stick around for our next review and the next superhero movie that comes out whenever the hell that is.
Yeah.
And we'll smell you later.
Bye-bye.